Hello Access campers and welcome to episode 45 of your favourite PlayStation video show. Coming up, we travel to LucasFilm for Darth Vader! Yoda! Oh my god, it's Star Wars 1313! We reveal the lucky winner of our Gamescom presenter competition, and we've got PS3's latest in our PlayStation briefing. First up though, it's time to dice with death in Game of the Week Darksiders 2. It's fair to say that most games these days feature a great deal of war and death, but only one series hands them starring roles, and that's epic myth-munching adventure Darksiders. While the first game followed your man War's attempts to prove he didn't do the apocalypse by thumping everything to dust naturally, the shortly to arrive Darksiders 2 takes place during the same stretch of time, but from the perspective of War's cuddly older bro, Death. Except, of course, he's not even a bit cuddly. He carries two deadly great scythes, looks like a prison-fit Skeletor, and has a horse called Despair. Though on the plus side, Despair does look like he smells of mint aero. Actually, the really good thing is that Despair is available from the very start, saving you all the plodding about War had to endure at the start of the first game, and helping Death to prance through this chilled opening level like an underdressed and unusually well-armed Mountie. And happily, the differences don't stop there. Death is more agile than his chunky sibling, making the scythe-heavy combat a skittering whirl of limbs and comic ink blood. One nice RPG-ish addition is that Death can loot the corpses of enemies, equipping bits of armour and even secondary weapons, like this very sensibly sized axe, or this delicate hammer, which broaden his range of combos. Even better is that the game doesn't all take place in a frosty cave. Whack the feathery balls off the gate-guarding Crowfather and Death has access to a giant realm stretching from green Middle-earthy valleys to grim grey dungeons. Like the returning race of makers, a bit like regular fantasy dwarves with mega-sized beards, Darksiders 2 feels enormous, full of weapons and skills to acquire, giant areas to explore, and enemies for Death to make extra dead. Darksiders 2 gets epic on your ass from the 20th of August. It's time to catch up with the world of PlayStation now as we begin our weekly briefing. First up, a huge announcement from the guys at Codemasters as the publisher unveils Grid 2, follow-up to the 2008 road race sim that was a bit like F1 in sporty hot pants or dirt after a bath. We asked the team what to expect from the sequel.
Really key, I think, this time around is the new sense of immersion which we're trying to bring into the title to make it an absolutely seamless experience for the gamer. You know, from the minute they enter into our world right the way through to winning those races and becoming the ultimate champion. We don't want to ever to lose them from the immersion and the involvement that we've got within the game.
Still on the subject of speed and the need for it, we recently visited Criterion Games to talk about their awesome-looking remake of Most Wanted, and then didn't talk about that at all, and instead asked about their worst real-life traffic offences.
I've got a squeaky clean licence.
So have I, apparently.
Officer.
Let's cut there before the random sampling and strip searches. That was your PlayStation briefing. Next week, Access TV is going to Gamescom. Make sure you watch the shows, which will be on the PlayStation Store and YouTube next week. Time to ditch the discs. It's our weekly roundup of PS3's best on the store. We've got a PlayStation Plus blowout for you this week as we take a look through the very best of the Instant Game Collection, a bundle of ace titles available to Plus members at no extra cost to your subscription. First up is the utterly delightful Little Big Planet 2, a family-friendly platformer that neglects guns, swearing and brown in favour of sponge cake, smiles and Stephen Fry.
Go on, off you trot.
With an ocean-deep create mode and a wonderfully idiot-free online community, you've absolutely no excuse not to enjoy the wonders of Sackboy's Hessian universe. Plus, you can make him dance like a Bee Gee. A bit more shooty, but no less brilliant, is Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light, an off-road trek into co-op territory for the Tomb Raider franchise that struck gold with ace puzzles, intuitive combat, and a man with more piercings than an acupuncture patient. The fact you can flame a massive spider doesn't hurt either. And then there's Motorstorm Apocalypse, a racer that laughs in the face of realism by sticking a load of falling skyscrapers in your way as you hurtle through the end of the world. Basically, if you're braking, you're doing it wrong. with the focus solely on going really fast and gasping at all the pretty destruction. Finally, if you ever wondered what it felt like to be a human lightning conductor, then keep on wondering, because that would be really dangerous, and Infamous 2 is only a video game. It's a very excellent video game though, and sees you steering Thunder hero Cole McGrath through an open world of excessively sized bosses and other enemies ripe for a frazzling. Why don't they just wear rubber? If you're not yet a Plus member, and with that lot to choose from, why wouldn't you be? Then hit that big yellow icon on your XMB to subscribe. That's all from the store for now. We'll have more downloadables for you next time. First of all, some sad news. I won't be here next week, as I'll be jetting off to my sofa. But turn that frown upside down, because Access TV is going to Gamescom, which means a triple helping of daily episodes direct from the show floor in Cologne, crammed with new game footage and developer interviews. And coming with us on this grand gaming adventure is the winner of our Gamescom presenter competition. Say hello to...
Guten Tag, Mitspieler. Ich bin Mark Humes and ich bin ein Krankenhaus.
We hope you don't mind 18-hour shifts and lugging half a ton of camera equipment about. There's also the small matter of us dodging airport queues by travelling to Gamescom on the Borderlands 2 bus, which we're assured has more than one toilet and will be the most pleasurable 8 hours we'll spend not in bed. Expect a full report on our return to Blighty, which incidentally we're doing on bicycles to raise money for Games Aid. Aren't we heroes? See you in Germany!
For access all areas this week, to LucasFilm in San Francisco you must go.
So we hopped on a plane and soon found ourselves rubbing shoulders with actually real Star Wars props like the Darth Vader costume, Boba Fett, and Darth Maul's cheaty double lightsaber. But gawping at amazing Star Wars memorabilia came second on our agenda to gawping at an amazing Star Wars game. It's called Star Wars 1313, and despite the double unlucky name, is looking all kinds of brilliant thanks to the collaboration between developers LucasArts and special effects powerhouse Industrial Light and Magic. Amazing! We snuck behind the scenes for a natter with the chaps responsible.
We wanted to go with something that had a much more relatable hero character, somebody who was more grounded, and that meant having ultimately at the core a character who is bound by the range of human ability. The cool thing about that is that you can go for much more visceral, exciting gameplay with a guy that you know can die. I think the interesting thing is that when you're talking about a narrative-driven game, gameplay and narrative can be at the same point. They can be at level pegging and they can inform each other, but because the narrative is so much part of the gameplay, it's a different kind of equation.
Peter Dalton from ILM and Jeff Brown from LucasArts as a team designing all the shots. You know, Pete, he was a cameraman on Return of the Jedi, so we're like, oh, how do we make sure this feels like a Star Wars shot? It's like, I'll tell you exactly how you make sure it feels like a Star Wars shot. So it's the first time you've really seen this sort of high, convergence of the two worlds of media to such a level.
I'm really invested in our facial animation side of things and the facial capture side, so this seemed like a really logical fit. I mean, we're going to be pushing a whole lot of stuff through, so it's an opportunity to really push the technology, to push the techniques, and to hopefully deliver something that's pretty kick-ass.
We'll have tons more on Star Wars 1313 soon, but until then, a massive thanks to Kim, Dominic and Michael. And we've also been asked to thank Yoda by this hummingbird. Thanks, Yoda! It's common knowledge that every fighting game has its weirdo. Tekken has throaty alien man thing Yoshimitsu. Soul Calibur has scuttling gimp spider Voldo, and Dead or Alive has Zap, who not only is a button masher's dream, but can shoot you out of a cannon like an immodestly dressed cannonball. KO indeed. For more Access videos, head to youtube.com/PlayStation Access. We'll see you next week for our Gamescom special.